Currently home to 50 active members, the University of the Philippines Red Cross Youth is a non-stock, non-profit organization based in UP Diliman, guided by the principles of humanity, impartiality, neutrality, independence, voluntary service, unity, and universality. The organization is a platform for service-driven students to support partner communities through different socio-civic activities. Among these projects is Sandigan, a blood drive which aims to encourage university students to become blood donors. Our organization also offers first aid services, first aid training for different groups on campus, and first aid booths for events. Notably, UPRCY annually manned the first aid booth for UP Fair since 2013. Committing to our mandate to service amid the pandemic, we continued conducting first aid training, also known as FATS, through the online learning environment. We were also able to execute different webinars aimed at empowering UP students in terms of leadership, disaster preparedness, and mental health. As an established organization trusted by the UPD community to provide first aid services, UPRCY has the potential to strengthen the support system for the mental health of the student community. We see ourselves expanding our capabilities as first aiders in a way that seeks to preserve mental wellness like we promote physical health.
The physical and economic distress brought about by the pandemic and the transition to online classes has taken its toll to the UP community's collective mental health, manifesting in decreased academic performance and extreme coping measures such as gap semesters. This crisis, therefore, further solidifies the community's need for greater mental health support. As UPRCY values humanity, we deeply desire to strengthen ourselves, our mental health, and that of others as well. Like RA 11036 or the Mental Health Act, we seek to ensure that mental health is valued, promoted, and protected. Last October 24, 2020, in time for the National Mental Health Awareness Month, we launched Kaakbay, a webinar discussing the methods of psychological first aid and the importance of mental health care during COVID-19. This is only the first of the many initiatives that the organization intends to do to promote mental health. Kaakbay aims not only to provide information and raise awareness on mental health, but also to equip the participants on how to support themselves and others during these difficult times. Hence, we chose topics that are not only timely, but are also practical and are contextualized in the Philippine setting. Our first speaker was Ms. Elizabeth Toledo, who is our alumni and is a licensed psychometrician. She introduced psychological first aid and PFA methods that anybody can use. Our second speaker, Dr. Charibel Escandalor, who is a psychiatrist and a professor, talked about mental health and the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Kaakbay webinar was handled by an ad hoc committee under the direction of the Advocacy Project's office. It was conceptualized last August 2020, initially as a webinar, with the hope of eventually offering psychological first aid services and training as part of UPRCY's initiatives. We spent 2 months planning and preparing for this event and reaching out to credible speakers. The main event, which is open to all participants, both in and out of UP Diliman, was held via Zoom and was streamed on the organization's Facebook page to reach a wider audience. The webinar received positive responses from the participants. They were active in the discussions and asked good questions, not just during the webinar, but prior to the event itself. This shows the importance of tackling mental health in addressing not just significant concerns, but personal concerns as well. The speakers were also accommodating and sensitive in answering these questions. Moreover, the participants found the webinar to be helpful for themselves and also to help others. They were eager to learn more and suggested a more in-depth and practical discussion that includes how one should respond to common scenarios.
We believe that UPRCY can still do more to continue the discussion on mental health like we did with Kaakbay. The webinar's themes of self-care and resilience are very much in line with their mission and vision as an organization. And so our experience in Kaakbay inspires us to continue learning about psychosocial support systems to make us more eligible to help others. We reimagine last year's project as a sustained initiative through which our organization will actively contribute to the demand for mental health support. Kaakbay 2.0 will become a unique program to train more students for psychological first aid. Still in a pandemic, this initiative can very much be carried out in a remote setup. We envision Kaakbay 2.0 in 3 phases: a training period, an integration period, and implementation period. For the training, our members will be immersed in the psychosocial support program offered by the UPD Ugnayan ng Pahinungod, which equips volunteers to provide basic psychosocial support to others like classmates, orgmates, families, and relatives. For the integration period, our members will apply their training into the development of internal resources. To supplement the training from Pahinungod, RCY will reach out to other experts for consultation of mental health information and methods for psychological first aid. Then, our members will develop psychological first aid training manuals. For the implementation, UP-RCY will offer its first aid training program newly inclusive of mental health care information for both RCY applicants and other students attending first aid trainings by the organization.
Kaakbay aims to remind us the challenges in our mental health, especially in this time of isolation and uncertainty, is as important as our physical health. Agreeing with Pahinungod's vision, we aim to develop an empowered UP Diliman community that will help each other out in times of emotional challenges through the knowledge that we have gathered in Kaakbay, which we will continue to gather in Kaakbay 2. Even with the advocacies and capabilities of our members, most previous projects of UP-RCY were limited by financial constraints. We prioritized our members' safety and well-being over any income-generating projects. Only vital projects such as the Dugong Bayani were maintained since there is also a great need for blood donations at this time. We believe that this grant will not only allow our organization to be sufficiently equipped for its operations, but it will also give us new opportunities to innovate projects that will further push for mental health awareness. The pandemic has challenged us in ways we could not imagine, and the projects that we could launch with your aid will immensely help champion our cause.